I want to start with this. When I got married, Ann had 4 kids, and I had 2 kids. So there was a lot of movement. And, you're going through money questions and kid questions and where you're going to live questions and school questions. And I said, let's just always think of this. We got a lot of things on the kitchen table. The more we can clear off the kitchen table, the better it is. Financial stuff. Let's get that off the table. We figure that out. Travel plans, schools. I say what you don't want in life is a cluttered table where you got all these things. I like resolution. I'd rather you yell at me, we argue, we have conflict. Let's get stuff off the table in life, right? Like just not all the clutter and stuff. I'm very much a minimalist in life. I got 4 pair of shoes, drives my wife nuts. She's the artist. She has a bunch of stuff. And so we always have this kind of fun battle about I'm clearing stuff off the table. She's putting stuff on the table because she's an artist and I'm a minimalist. But one of the things about being a sportscaster is there are these arguments that we have year after year after year, and I wish I could do the same thing that I do with my relationship. I could just clear them off the table, and we could just stop having the argument. And the biggest argument that we fight over all the time is the word valuable. We confuse it with great. Ice cream is great. The freezer or refrigerator it's in is valuable. Twitter's great. The iPhone I use it on is valuable. A watch is great. The arm and wrist it's connected to is valuable. In all 3 examples, they can do more. Giannis is the MVP, or Jokic, or Embiid. But in this case, it's Giannis to me because when LeBron was dominating the league, I kept saying, how does he not win MVP? He's the GM. He's the coach. Defensively, offensively. There's not even an argument. He's the most valuable player in the league, and we're now getting into this with Giannis. Last night against the Sixers, the Bucks and the Sixers, to me, are the 2 best teams in the East. They meet last night. Great game, great Hall of Fame level players. Probably the only guy in basketball in a decade who can make that block. Both ends. Listen, I know y'all love the triple-double, so I guess he can't be MVP because he was 4 assists shy of a triple-double. I mean, come on, man. It's not most statistically amazing. Triple-doubles are nonsense. They don't lead to wins. Blocks do. Dominating on both ends do. Dominating in the fourth quarter does. This is not a referendum against John Morant. He can't make that block. He's not going to dominate on the defensive end. Don't confuse great highlights with MVP. Don't confuse cool stats with MVP. Giannis, like LeBron, is the most valuable player in the league. Nobody else makes that block. And my memory could be fading. Didn't he have a block like that in the finals last year? He had a massive block in a crucial game. He's the best defender. He's the longest player. He's the most athletic. Thank God he's the most grateful and humble. And by the way, if you want to do stats, stop with a triple-double. He's the best second-half scorer in the NBA, 16 points. He's the best fourth-quarter clutch player in the NBA. He's averaging, he's 54% from the floor in clutch time. If you want stats, give me those stats. Give me end-of-game stats. But we did this with LeBron for years. In LeBron's prime for 10 years, it was nonsense. Harden was flashy, and there were other great players. He was the most valuable player. He was the most valuable commodity in the world in basketball. Literally, he would go to teams, the equity in the team goes up $500 million when he arrived in Cleveland. The value of the franchise. Now, I know that doesn't count for MVP, but literally, when Giannis doesn't play for the Bucks, when he needs a night off or very rarely injured, it seems like he's never hurt. That's another part of his value. He's always available. He's always available. John Morant's hurt. Derrick Rose got hurt. John Wall got hurt. Westbrook's often hurt. This dude, that frame, he never hurt. But in the games he's missed, they're sub 500. Now think about that. The best team in the NBA, the NBA champs, are not a 500 team in the last 13 games. They're not the same team. Grizzlies are 18-2 without Ja, and they're better offensively. It's not a referendum against him. But we do this all the time. This is the argument I'd like to take off the table. Don't confuse stats and highlights and cool and great with valuable. That block sums up Giannis. And let's not do to Giannis what we did to LeBron. Try to find cool and stats and reasons. not to give him the MVP. I mean, we literally, it was like Phil Jackson. We tried to find ways not to give him Coach of the Year. He's got like 11 rings. He's won it once. I think he's won it once, maybe twice. I mean, give me a break. Let's stop finding ways to confuse simple arguments. Giannis is the most valuable player, clutch, late games, both ends in the NBA, and he probably is going to be for the next 7 to 8 years. Let's not find ways not to give it to him. All right. So, there are certain owners in sports. Jim Irsay is one of them. He's impulsive, sometimes a little cray, but he's a fan. He's authentic. He's emotional. I had him on the show not long ago. He is his own guy. He is always willing to tell you what he thinks. He's very much Mark Cuban. What he tells you, he believes. So he had a piece by Zach Kiefer in The Athletic. He talked about why they moved off Carson Wentz. And he got a little bit of pushback for this, but it was so... And I like Wentz more than everybody else. But I got to give Jim Irsay credit for this. This is the stuff now. They write the books and they write the articles months after stuff happens, right? So here's Jim Irsay's quote. He said, listen, the worst thing you can do is have a mistake and try to keep living with it going forward. By the way, that's like my get stuff off the table. For us, it was something we had to move away from as a franchise, Carson Wentz. It was obvious. No disrespect to Jacksonville, but I mean, they're the worst team. They're the worst team in the league. I've never seen anything like it in my life. You say, my God, there's something wrong here. It needs to be corrected. Well, of course, Jags fans don't want to hear it, but it's not wrong. And I like this. We can all roll our eyes that they've had 6 quarterbacks in 6 years. But we were talking as a staff this morning. I want my NFL team to be like a tech company. Move fast and occasionally break stuff. I don't want you to be Blockbuster. The New York Giants, they're sticking with Daniel Jones. And the Steelers stuck way too long with Big Ben. Those two blue bloods in the last 10 years have 3 playoff wins. In the last 5, they have 0. And they are the blue bloods. They're the IBM of this league. Giants and the Steelers. The Rams and the Buccaneers both moved off. Not only productive quarterbacks, highly drafted quarterbacks, and quarterbacks now that are playing for other teams. They moved right off them. Cleveland, say what you want. Deshaun Watson's going to be messy, but Baker did win a playoff game. The Chiefs moved off Alex Smith. And the Niners are moving off Jimmy Garoppolo. It's called standards. And the Wentz thing I thought was really impulsive. But now you get the backstory on it, where Irsay went and interviewed multiple players, veteran players, and he found out like the locker room was bad. That Wentz did not take to hard coaching. A lot of the veterans didn't buy into him. He was kind of aloof. Now you get the story. The book comes out. And it's like, okay, I get it now. So, you can say what you want about the Colts, but I like the fact they keep trying. Listen, they had bad luck with Andrew Luck. Right before games, he quit. And they've been scrambling since. But their standards are, let's keep swinging. Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers. I'll take that every day over trying to convince me that Daniel Jones is great. Or that Big Ben's got a couple years left. Not interested. Move fast, occasionally break stuff. It's how tech companies work, and it's how I want my NFL team to work. I mean, you can do the Vikings thing and try to convince everybody this thing is really going to end with a rainbow and a pot of gold at the end. Or Tennessee, similarly with Ryan Tannehill, is solid like Kirk Cousins. You can keep trying to convince it, or you can blow stuff up. And I will never criticize somebody in sports, or I'll try not to, that gives me good content. And Jim Irsay, although impulsive, I've put him on the show before, is a fan. He's emotional, he's authentic, he's honest, and he'll just put it right out there. And when you read the story now, as much as I like Wentz more than the rest of you, I get it. Couldn't coach him hard. People in the locker room didn't connect with him. He didn't do the vax thing, ticked off a lot of teammates. I get it. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.